With the help of synthetic monitoring, what you can do is you can get the availability of application. You can understand your availability of application. Is that your application either it is running or not? You can understand just like a heartbeat. You can what you can say that. Once. Okay, so you can understand the heartbeat of your application. Like you know that, right? HTTPS status 200.
Yeah.
Status 200 means you whether URL is up and running. So you will come to know, right? So you need to understand, right? Every like what is happening is like suppose you have one application. So you are monitoring infrastructure, CPU, memory, disk, process, all those things, right? But in spite of that, we need to monitor that application availability also. Okay. Inside the application, service, user, that is your deep level monitoring. But at least for basic monitoring, what you used to set up is we used to set up like all the infrastructure metrics, like if it is a VM, then we are monitoring CPU, memory, disk, network, network connectivity. If it is a database, then JDBC connectivity. If it is an application server, then URL application availability. Yeah, ping status, you can say. Yeah, heartbeat of the application, you can say. Yeah, application availability, you can say. So these are the basic monitoring used to do that, right? So also to configure application availability, we need to have a synthetic monitor. Okay. So what we used to do is we used to generate traffic on your application. Means like a synthetic means you need to understand your application. Means URL is up and running. You hit the URL, you'll get the response. Means your application is up. Okay. So what we used to do is from certain location, we are generating you are hitting that URL. This is your application URL. This location you can say it is a Canada. If it is a Canada-based application, then I should run from that location from Canada only, right? So Dynatrace provide this location, public location, you can call it. Dynatrace does provide public location to hit the application URL. Okay, you'll get a status. So and there is one private location. Private location we need to configure. Private location we need to configure. Like sometimes if your URL is not public, okay, it happens, right? Most of the time, like application URL is not a public, will sometimes it will be private also. Like access to only some users. Yeah, you need to log into the particular jump server, yeah, some bastion server, and from that you log into that application. Am I correct?
Yeah.
So that happens. So and that kind of application URL you wanted to monitor. In that case, public location you cannot generate a traffic because that URL is not accessible from everywhere. So in that case, we used to configure a private location. So private location we used to configure in dedicated VM. Okay. So in that VM, and this is your application running. Suppose this application running on this server. www.egtravel.com, and this is a completely private, sealed. Now suppose you have configured private location also, still we cannot communicate to that application because there is no connectivity. Am I correct? We here to connect and then hit that URL, this application URL. So in that way, what we used to do is we are giving in this application service running in their firewall setting. We are adding this server IP, and we are accessing and giving this URL access from this server. So whichever URL you want to hit from the private location, we need to give that access to that application for this server. Means if you are hitting this application from only this server, because they have did some network peering, how they are doing that. So they are all the application URL for this customer you are hitting from this server. So same access they should provide for this server as well. then only we can hit this URL. Are you getting my point? So in that way, you can manage your private URLs. Okay. So to configure a private location, we should have environment activate. Am I correct?
Yeah.
To configure a private location. So let's configure then. So that you understood, right? That is what is the use of synthetic monitoring. Okay.
Yeah.
So
To
now
check the availability.
to check the availability of application. Now there is types of synthetic monitoring. So there are two types of synthetic monitoring. One is HTTP monitoring. HTTP monitoring means single URL check. Okay, just main landing page, you can say a main URL. Any URL you can check. Okay, whichever you are configured, a single URL status you can understand from the HTTP monitoring. Now it comes to second types of monitoring, browser-based monitoring. So browser-based monitoring, what it will do? Suppose you have one application. That concept you understood, right? The public and private. Okay. So now come to browser-based application. Now suppose this is your application, like Easy Travel application. So what you used to do, Easy Travel, we are logging. First we are landing, we are hitting the home page. Then we are logging to that application, right? Second. Third, we are searching some items, right? Where you want to travel, search. Third, select that, right? Then fourth, once you select it, then you are filling travel details. Because already you have logged in, so name and all will take up from there. But you need to have how many adults, how many senior citizen, how many childs, all those things you are filling with address. Okay. Once it is done, then you are going for payment page. Once payment is done, you are getting a reference number. The ticket has been, this is your ticket ID, and you will get a ticket in your email. Correct? If it is okay. The same process, right? If you do buying any product also, you are going to the home page, you are login, then like you are searching some item, you are adding that item to cart, then you are filling the delivery address, scheduling it, do the payment, you will get a reference ID. Correct? Yeah. Same way, if you do some transfer, some money, what you are doing? Log in to that portal, doing some searching that event and where to add it, all those things you are doing. If it is buying an insurance, same thing you are doing, right? Log in, search, select that insurance, fill your details, then you are select that code and do the payment. This is the mostly you used to do that, this kind of transaction. Okay? Now, suppose your application homepage is up and payment page having some issue and it is not generating, is getting failed. Okay. In that case, entire transaction will be held. It will generate any revenue? No, right? No. Because you are not able to generate a payment means people what they will do? You will go to another website, right? Yeah, sometimes what will happen is payment is not working properly. Your amount got deducted and you have not received the ticket. That also it is happening, right? In that case, if anything like a search item, if you're searching something, it is not giving proper response. Yeah, if you're selecting, so you are filling some travel details, then that parameters is not available to add key docs on that end, or it is not coming up. You are hitting that, but it is not coming. You're trying to select, but it is not happening. Something it doesn't work in during this entire transaction. There is no use of this transaction, right? Because this page is not. If people are not logging to that portal, like sometimes database is not. I think we face sometimes like when you do some apply for a job, career job, you go to the career portal, you apply that job, and that first round was happened, and that you are trying to see the track, like where it is going process. Sometimes it will not happen, and you are thinking password is incorrect, again you are trying to reset, still it is not happening. You'll get frustrated, right? Because that application is not connected with particular database, and so they are not able to fetch the information from the database. So they are telling there no user password is incorrect, user doesn't found, something like that. Correct? So
Okay.
there is no use if anything goes down. So to avoid that, some transactions like we used to monitor as a entire transaction. Okay, so we can understand that each and every service is also functioning properly as expected. Are you getting my point? Like if you are
Mhm.
searching some item and this page is loading, it took 5 minutes, then people get irritated. They'll close the project, they'll open another. Because market is very diverse now. There's so many competitors available. So
Yeah.
to avoid that, most of the organizations, what they used to do is they used to monitor the main URL correct, but they wanted to have the monitoring for each and every page as well. And this browser-based monitoring and HTTP monitoring become very famous nowadays because each and every company, each and every application team, they are trying to monitor their entire transaction to understand. So what mostly that company, what they used to do is they used to monitor infrastructure, application availability, entire transaction and service. That's it. Apart from that, some company like their business is based on the end user. Okay, then they
Mhm.
understand they would like to understand that end user behavior, where user is facing. Okay, which country user is facing, which area, which page user is facing most of the issue. So sometimes company is interested to have the user behavior also they wanted to understand, but 90% if it is an internal based application like where we know that these are the users we have, right? In that they mostly focus, they don't focus on user action, but they focus on each and every page it should work on. So in that case we cannot lose one of the customer. Okay, while doing some payment, you are buying some product, booking some tickets, it could be anything. What kind of application you are serving, based on that they used to do that. Okay, now so how you configure? So Dynatrace does provide URL monitoring and browser based monitoring. So browser based monitoring, we can either you can configure manually. Yeah, there is options that Dynatrace does provide a synthetic recorder. Synthetic recorder. So with the help of synthetic recorder, you can generate one traffic. So what is happening is when anything goes down, right? What application team used to do? So now it is come up. So they used to generate a traffic, right? They need to do entire transaction to understand each and every service working fine. So they should have some which user, test user, service user we call that, right? Service account. So they have that service account with a complete credential and they log in with that on. So and they used to generate a traffic with payment, card details, everything. Okay. In that they
Mhm.
have some in the code there they have some functionality they have added. They will take that value and you can understand that this is working fine. So when you are configuring browser-based monitoring, then make sure that you should interact with application team. If it is not, then they can create some users like credentials. Okay, and because now see that homepage you understood, without login also you can understand the page is working fine. Okay, but once you log in, you should have a credential, right? Then only you
Yeah.
can log. Correct. So to have that, most of the applications that tools team availability, they should contact to development team, the application team, to have that to get that credential, and then you create a synthetic model. So you can do entire transaction, and that will run. Okay, that will generate every times, like every 15 minutes, yeah, 5 minutes, yeah, 10 minutes, yeah, 30 minutes, yeah, 1 hour, something like that. You can schedule it. So what will happen is every 15 minutes, they will go check the URL availability. First, if it is a HTTP, okay, fine, it is working fine. They'll give the response. If project is monitoring every 15 minutes, every 30 minutes, you schedule it. They will every 30 minutes from the particular location, they will go hit the home page, they will log in, they will search item, whatever the item you have added to search, they will search particular item, then they add, select that, then add some card details, payment, then you get it. So every time. If anything goes down, you will get a. In that also there are options to have the threshold value. Like not like if URL select page is not working, yeah, payment page is not working, then only it will alert, because you have defined some performance threshold also. Login page should open that within like 3003 second, yeah, 5 second, yeah, search should happen 2 second, payment will give you that particular time, right? Do not refresh, you do not close the project for 2 seconds, 160 seconds, yeah, 3 minutes, something like that, right? It is most of the time it is showing us, right? So in that, there you can add their response also, like you should open that. If it is not, then definitely there is some glitch, and then that application team, application supporting, they need to work on it based on that, because you have added a threshold value, so they will get a lot if it is more than that. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So in that way, you can achieve your synthetic mode. Okay. So how you can configure? Okay. So first we should, I'll configure that private location. So so synthetic, if I'll go deployment status, active gate. Oh, just a minute. Post is still running. No. Okay. Deployment status, active gate, install active gate. So you can go that active gate installation. Once it is installed, you can find in deployment status page. But while you forget the installation command, you will get either deploy Dynatrace hub, anywhere you can get it. So if you click on deploy Dynatrace also, there is options to have a install active gate. So you can install Windows and Linux anywhere. Okay? So Windows just like a exe and you can download, but Linux just will try. So create a pass token. Pass token, you know that, right? Either you can create, you need to create from the setting. But here just I have created. So we need to select second options. Now you see this to configure a private location, because they run synthetic monitoring from private location. To have that, you should have this kind of VM for Linux family. Okay, if you are selected.
Okay, it supports only these operating systems.
This meaning. Okay. So Red Hat 7, Red Hat 8, Ubuntu 16, 18, 20, not below that, not above that right now. Red Hat 8. CentOS 7, I think we will not find any image now. I think CentOS is end of life. But still some company are using. CentOS 8 is came up in market now. So 7 and 8 both are supporting. So you need to select any. So I'm selected Ubuntu. Let me log into AWS console. How the weather in Canada now? Too much
right
cold?
now it is okay. No, it is okay. Spring is coming, right? Like 5 degrees and all.
So it will not go above 20, something like that in complete year?
No, it goes in summer, it goes 27, 28.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay, so let's have Ubuntu 18. So you remember, right? To have that environment active gate, at least 4 GB of RAM and 2 virtual CPUs required, right? minimum T2 dot medium is required. But if you have like, see this, like when you are setting up that environment actively, you need to understand for which purpose I'm doing it, okay? And how many URLs will be generating a traffic, okay? Recently, just last week, there was some, I told you, right, there was some P1 issue was going on something. What happened is, they spun up environment active like that same thing like private location we have configured in Datadog, okay, and we are generating I think 160 or 170 URLs, okay. And what happened is because of that some approvals, like what is happening now, what is happening, like we have each and every accounts, right, a customer DMs, right, and customer is paying for it.
Okay.
Customer is paying for it, okay. So now what is happening is this customer will say I will not pay this much, I have only 5 URLs, you can use T2 dot small or T2 dot big. Correct. Now if you think now you have some plenty of customer don't want to pay for T2 large or T2 X class, am I correct? Why I should pay if it is required only 2 virtual CPU, 4 GB RAM, I have only 10 URLs to monitor. Why should I pay for like higher version of Windows? Am I correct?
Yeah.
So in that case, what happened is the no one was agreed and they spun up 2 virtual CPU, 4 GB RAM. We installed that Datadog synthetic location. And what happened is we configured that one thing. It was working fine. Later on, what happened is because temporary storage, logs, the temporary files, generating a log, right? Disk got full completely. Okay. And location was unavailable. Okay. Entire URLs as a P1 prod, it is sending as a P1 in the weekend. Entire URLs, just to think 192 tickets were generated within a fraction of 5 seconds.
Oh.
Because the URL went down, it will wait for 5 minutes, right? You will wait for 10 minutes to have a delay in service now. Like last time we discussed, right? We can put some 10 minutes, 5-minute delay to send to third party.
Anomaly detection. Yeah.
Anomaly detection. While creating an alert profile. In alert profile, we gave, right, severity delay in 10 seconds, 10 minutes, 5 minutes, something. So entire URL it was showing as a down because that location becomes unavailable. And entire URL went down. And then what happened is it sent to entire application team as a P1. Just to think 192 tickets were generated in service now in one shot as a priority one. So and what is happening is you cannot now what is happening if you are monitoring that server also, then you should install agent. If you wanted to monitor this server also, you have configured environment activity, correct? Now I wanted to monitor this server for CPU, memory, disk, process. Okay, then what will happen? You should install the agent also in that server. And who will be paying that for that agent cost?
Okay. Customer.
So customer has to pay, right? And customer is not agree. I said that he is telling you can. There is a monitor when it is active gate becomes unavailable, private location becomes unavailable. You send an alert.
Okay.
There is a method that will see after installation, but I don't want to install the Datadog or Dynatrace agent over there because it's costly, right? It is costing $200, $300 monthly for one server cost. So I don't want to pay for that. Then what we'll do? Okay, I'll not configure. Just I'll configure. So location becomes unavailable. In that case, just to think because of server lower version of configuration, this much issue or pain will happen. Escalation will happen, right? And customer is not agreed to pay because either you divide that location, like you should have a 20 location, 30 location, then again you're to manage that server like patching, vulnerability, all those things will happen, right? If you have more, we have more works. As an infrastructure side, if you think you have 100 of VMs, if you have 50 customers, you configure for each customer one location, then what will happen is to manage that server also, right? You should have people. because sometimes server CPU went high, memory went high. Yeah, some network connectivity issue will happen. Yeah, sometimes what will happen is sometimes like patching is required to that server. If you did patching, that location is not coming up. There could be a lot of issue when you work as a SME. So we need to think each and every aspects. So you need to suggest them like boss, if you are using this, these are the scenario you will get it in future. Make sure that you are covering that scenario to have a high OPT, a high that application should be reliable because you are giving the commitment, right? If it is a P1, they are paying money. Customer is like if it is like suppose you are getting a P1, so one P1 ticket, I think company has to pay to client. Am I correct? There is some agreement.
Correct.
Correct. So one ticket you are paying for it. That way it is happening. If it is a false or something, customer is charging also. So vice versa is happening. Okay. So in that case, to avoid that, you should come up with some strategy. You should convince them like this are the scenario it will come. So to avoid that, you should have a higher version. I'll recommend when it is 2:4, you go 1-2 version higher because these are the location becomes unavailable. Honestly, you will get a call somewhere.
Yeah.
Right now I'm just it is required 2 virtual 4 GB. I'm configuring that.
But we have to decide like for what purpose we are using and
Yeah.
how much capacity we need.
So what is the capacity we need? So that is the reason, right? You need to understand how many URLs you wanted to monitor from the synthetic private location. If it is 100, then I will not suggest to go with the 2 virtual CPU and 4 GB RAM with 30 GB or 40 GB of space. You should go 4 virtual GB RAM, 4 virtual CPU, 8 GB RAM. At least you keep 50 GB space as a buffer. So if because you are not keep on logging right to that server and checking their DF you all those things, right? You can't because people have a lot of activity to do that.
Yeah.
Once that activity is done, ticket close, activity done. I'll not take care. So that is happening. So you need to decide how much GB space is required, how much GB we should put, all those things. Based on how many URLs you are. That's it. Let's configure. Just wait, server is not yet up.
The status is still initializing.
Yeah. Okay. Now it is up. So sudo space su apt-l. Now copy this. Yeah, selected Ubuntu.
Do you have any Dynatrace interview questions or certification? This thing, documents, Deepak, with you?
Yeah, I have that. I think I have not shared that document for you. I got installed. I'll share after once we complete that. And I have a list of one drive. You can download. There will be most of PPT documents, all that integration. Like how do you edit this one, right? There's a step-by-step documents. Like the
Okay,
screen.
sure. Yeah.
That you can go, and there's the interview questions as well. What are the questions they used to ask?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so if I'll click on here, you can see. So there is only synthetic model monitoring modules. Okay, only one model, synthetic monitoring. Now let's see how to configure first private location. Then we'll configure a synthetic monitoring. So private location, we should go web and mobile monitoring. You can see private synthetic location. Add private location. Okay, add private location. Location name Canada. TechCam Canada. Okay. If I search can, you'll get something. Canada canteen. This is in Canada. Canada Creek
Yeah.
Nova Scotia.
Yeah.
Okay. So just you need to search city by your region by your country. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then you select that location, that server IP that we have installed, right? So we are getting one here. And once it is done, add activate. And then here we have some options. What kind of options we have? Like generate a problem if the entire private location is unavailable. So we have only one location, right? So this monitoring alert is required. Correct? Second, generate a problem if single active gate is offline. When you have multiple, like 3 locations, manage location, yeah, 4 locations. In that, you will get a alert for when all the 3 locations becomes unavailable. In that, you will get out of 3 if any one becomes unavailable. Yeah, generate an application active, yeah, active gate, yeah, entire private location unavailable. Okay, so you need to have that. Okay? So save changes. So I have configured the private location. This is the way you can configure a private location. Okay. Now let's configure a synthetic monitoring. So synthetic monitoring, where it will come. Yeah. So you can see synthetic under the application tab, application Microsoft. Let's create it. Delete this one. Okay. Create a synthetic monitoring. So if you click here, there is a 2 types. One is HTTP, one is browser. So HTTP you can get only application availability, single monitor. Yeah. A single, yeah, you have 3-4 applications. Like suppose it's one application, Easy Travel, easytravel.com, easytravelportal.com, something like that, right? And both are redirecting to one application, same application. If it is multiple URL also, you can add it. So let's configure for this one. So I'm adding. Take a website, apple.com. And website. So I want to hit this URL. Okay. Add a request. Name of the monitor you can give. Here, like Apple. Landing page. Okay. HTTP request URL I have given. Add HTTP request. Now, if it is required some authentication, okay, then you can do that. Like to hit this URL, you need some authentication. Authorization is required, some URL, password, username, password. Then you can give the username, password. So what username, password that I talk about, right? That service account. So whenever people, you cannot use your login ID, right? Because it is not a this thing. So good thing, better you told them to create a service account. Yeah. Have this monitor, okay? So if it is required, you can add that. Okay. To hit this URL, what is required? If you wanted to monitor SSL certificate as well, then you can monitor that. When it is throwing alert, like after 30 days, you can add that. Okay. That and all you can do also. So what are things you can do? Just I am generating a traffic now. Next. So when you go for a exam or something, it will ask when you are creating a HTTP monitoring, what is the default location, default frequency. Default is a 1 minute for HTTP. Now you wanted to have 60 minutes, 30 minutes, 50 minutes, 10 minutes, 5 minutes, that is your business. But Dynatrace is given, default is 1 minute. So that is the basic question. So I'm generating right now for 1 minute. So to get the traffic, now you see Dynatrace does provide this many private locations. Okay. Even you can, instead of manage, you can do this one also, private also. You can add, you can whitelist this IP, right? If you whitelist, you can manage, but we don't prefer. Okay, sometimes they will change, they may change by IP something, right? Location will be sent, IP may get changed or something. So to avoid that, you can select the private location. So let's select, so you can filter by cloud provider, continent, country, IP address, name, type. So if you take a country, then these are the countries that has a data center, private data, public data center. So search Canada. These are the locations we have. We have Montreal. Montreal we have two, and Quebec we have Quebec and Toronto. Okay. So let's hit from the Toronto.
But we have to select APM Canada, right? That's our private.
So if you now, so this is the public, right? Canada you search, all are came. Okay, country, because you search select by country. Now if you wanted to select by private, only one. Okay.
Because that is where we have installed our ActiveGate, correct?
Yeah. So this is the location we are hitting. So this is the location also you can see. And suppose they wanted to, if this URL, application URL, apple.com, it is not giving the response, then what you need to do? The Apple, where apple.com application was deployed in their firewall setting, you need to whitelist, you need to add this server IP. This server IP. Okay, so now let's select this as well. So I'm running from the two location. In trial environment, it is allowed only 3 locations. If it is your licensed one, Dynatrace, you can configure maximum 200 locations.
400.
200.
Okay, 200.
That is too much. Nobody will be doing 2-3 locations. It is enough. But it does support 200 locations, public, private, including. Okay. So now what they are doing is to wait for a few minutes.
Yeah.
It will fetch the availability. It will give you the data. So now, meanwhile, we see edit one. If you go edit, so there's a monitor cookies. If is there, you can add assign to that. We wanted to assign this as application manager. You can do that. If you see HTTP request, you can add multiple requests. Now apple.com is there. Suppose now I'm planning to add apple.in. Also it will work, right? It should work. Apple.in. Work or not, I'm not sure. Okay. So is apple.com/in, right? Like I wanted to monitor this one. So I can add here. Okay. Name apple.com, yeah, apple in something, whatever the name you wanted to add. Okay. And save changes. That's it. So 2 URL I have to do. Okay. So you can add multiple URL also. You can do that. If it is pointing to same application, like in the ROD 53, they used to add, right, DNS.
Correct. ROD 53 DNS entries, right?
In DNS, they used to add multiple URLs. All the URLs goes to redirect to same page, right? So whatever the cloud team they used to add, that application team they used to add, but they wanted to monitor all the URLs, right? Because all the URLs pointing to same main application.
Yeah.
So now, so that you can add it here. Now you see frequency and location. So frequency and location, so that is the same, right? Which location you want to hit that. Like now you wanted to change for 5 minutes, you can do for 5 minutes. 10 minutes. That you can later on also you can modify. That is outage handling. So outage handling means generate a problem, send an alert. When we have outage in application, right? Suppose we have outage on from Canada, we have outage. Okay. But India, we have selected 2 locations. US doesn't have outage. Right? That will happen, right? One location it is not accessible, that and not happen. So what is telling? Alert if the locations are unavailable to access my application first time. I don't want to do it in first time. 2 times consecutively it is happening. Like first time generate a traffic, it is giving like it is not accessible. URL is down. Generate for 2 times. Still it is having, then you send an alert. Yeah, 3 times. So you will not receive much flooded like anything. So you can add 2 times, 3 times, and generate a problem. Send an alert when the monitor is unavailable for 1 year more consecutive runs at any location. Okay, that also you can add it. So it is 1 by 2. Yeah, 2 by 2. We have only 2 location, right? Both location, yeah, out of 2, 1 location. 3 times consecutively, 1 time, 5 times. Whatever that you use, you can do that. That you can save change. That is your how you wanted to have alert. Second thing is a performance threshold. Suppose you have added 1 URL, right? To hit that, okay, from particular location. So they are giving apple.com, yeah, apple.in, both, yeah, sum of all requests. Both requests, it should complete in 5 seconds, yeah, 6 seconds.
Okay.
That you can do. Yeah, you can do 1 by 1. Apple.com, 3 seconds. Save changes.
Apple.in.
Again you add. Apple.in, 4 seconds. There is too much images there in that. It should take a 4 seconds because India. So like this you can add. Yeah, you can add entire sum. That is your how you can do that. So that's this what you understood, right? Now we'll go to that page. Now we'll see availability is 100%. Open this. What is giving availability is 100%.
So one time it got executed again, right?
Yes. So where it will show also that. See, if it is available means it will be a gray area, right? So you can see Azure, Toronto still have not got any update. We got only TechM Canada. We got the response, right?
Yeah, that's a private location.
That is my private location. But Toronto still we have not got any of this. This local is no data, right? Now, where it will show? Still it is not come up completely. It's sorry. Now you see all locations.
No, Toronto also
came because it's coming up. It is giving all availability 100% for both the location. If this will reduce, then it will automatically that total will reduce, right? Now where will get the data? Here we will get the data. HTTPS no status code. Let's do for 922. It will take time, first time to get the data.
Okay.
But slowly it will come up. Nah? Expand the selected time frame. Still there is no data. It is giving here should come a status code. Let me show you that. Now still it is not came. Still not came. Why it is happening? It is successful, and if it nothing failed. No, it is happening. It is not giving response to you. See? Why it is not giving? Now it is taking time to first time to get the data. Okay.
Yeah.
Now it is giving the response. This is taking 103 millisecond, India one, and this is taking 23. Still, India is taking time.
Okay.
So these two URLs you can now you are getting the response via get. If you will open this, you will get details. What is the response time? total. We have added a threshold, right? It is showing 3 seconds is the upper limit. We have added 3 seconds. Above that, it will throw an error. Like we have response time outage. So request, how many requests it is happening? It has happened. This request, right? And you can see here one request has happened. It will show every time 2. One is not run yet, giving the data not yet. That will also come. Now see 1. 2 here added. It was included here. Now from here onward, it will be a 2. Because every location one time it is getting, right? So every time you will give it a two times of data. Here it was added 1, 2, 3, 4. Now from here it will show 2. There is a 2 location request to every one that we are generating a traffic. Okay. You can add some tags like application tag, key value, all those things. Yeah, you can create a automatic tags for synthetic. Okay, you can add here, here, there. Okay, anywhere you can add. The manual tags. So just this you understood. Now, if you see, if anything event will happen, your problem, it will show over here. Okay, if you see here, what I was trying to show, response time, mean and max. Okay, giving mean data, max data, how much every transaction, right? It is giving. Response time by location. If you click here, Toronto 132. Second time it went down. Okay. See, here it is coming Toronto 60 and Techem 514 milliseconds. So every time it will give you the location. Response time by request. The request 29 millisecond, and this is 103 millisecond. Now this time 135, 152. So like this you can configure. So every time will be a two lines because we have a two locations.
Monitors.
No, 2 URLs we are doing that, right?
Yeah.
Now you see now how it is the graphs. If it is going high, then definitely it is taking too much time. Okay. Now it is see 2. Here one is run, one is not run. So it will give you that this. So whenever you have any starter code issue, just to filter the particular time frame and check here whether it is run or not. Then check that whether location visibility. Anyway, you will receive an alert. Okay.
Yeah.
If something goes down, this URL becomes you will receive an alert because already that toggle is enabled. If you wanted to put in this dashboard, here option you wanted to put a dashboard also. Okay. That dashboard we'll discuss that. Okay. So that URL monitoring HTTP you understood, right?
Yeah.
Just a single page URL. Like if you have in that page also we have multiple URL. Either you can add it in same page. Here you can create another monitor. Okay. Now we'll discuss about browser based. Okay. So browser based also let's give the URL. So I'm giving apple.com. This is my URL. This is my type of URL. Okay. Name of the monitor I am giving apple.com. Okay. There's two ways: visual mode and script mode. If you know JavaScript, you can write that. You can write it. But if you are the monitoring guy, tools guy, people will be avoiding, right? Because taking time to implement as a scripting. So we'll suggest to use, don't go with manual also. I'll suggest to use a synthetic recorder. You can see allow synthetic recorder extension to use incognito mode. So what you can do is, there is a, if you go Chrome Web Store, where you can go that store. We have no that.
Yeah, right click on that and downloads, I think. No, the 3 dots there. Here, more tools.
Where? Like there will be some
Extension,
plugin, right?
extension, right?
Extension. Yeah, I wanted
Yeah.
to download extension.
Otherwise, you can yeah, click on that button.
Just
Yeah. Otherwise, you can search for download Dynatrace.
here, huh?
No. There is so from the right fourth one, there is F something that beside
Here,
that,
huh?
beside that, no, this side, left side, left.
This one?
Yeah, that one next.
Manage extension, you go.
Yeah.
Here you search for Dynatrace. Okay.
Yeah.
So in that you have synthetic recorder. Already it is installed. Okay. You just should tap it here, pin to here. Okay. Once it is got pin up, now you go to that. Which one is synthetic recorder? This is synthetic recorder. Okay. So once it is done, you need to go here and pin it. Suppose I don't want to unpin this one. I will click here. I'll remove unpin. It is happening. Okay. So it is got removed now. Okay. So we have only one. So now I have given the application URL, all those things. And now enable HTTP header, that is. So now I wanted to record as a click path. Correct. So if you click here, automatically it will open new page as an incognito. Okay. Now I click on apple.com. Okay. Now where I should go? I want to buy iPhone. So I will click on
So this is incognito mode, right?
Recorder will work as an incognito. Okay. Now it will go to the iPhone. Then I should buy iPhone 12. I will select that iPhone 12. Buy. Then I should select iPhone 12. Select the colors, capacity. You are working for any of this career now? I have worked for AT&T.
You work for AT&T?
Yeah, I have worked for AT&T because Bell Canada and AT&T. Right? Canada we have Bell, US we have AT&T.
Yeah.
So I'll select AT&T something. Yes, no. Select. Yes. Something we did, right? All those things we did. Okay. This much transaction I did. Okay. Now, if you go to that, see all the transactions got recorded. It's very easy. Okay. If you don't know, also it is very easy to configure in that way. Okay. And now you do next. I wanted to run every 5 minutes. I can 5 minutes. And which location I want to run, that you can select. If it is a private, you can select private and you can select it. If it is a public, any of the location you can take. I'm running from Mumbai and running from Warsaw. 3 locations that trial will allow. So I'm confident. Minimum you can give the frequency should be 5 minutes. That is the list.
For browser, minimum is 5.
5. Starting
for HTTP, it is 1 minute.
Yeah, starting with 1 minute. I have confidence. Now it will take hardly 3 to 4 minutes or 5 minutes to set up that browser visibility. Okay. Now same thing if you wanted to do manually. Okay. So let's go to create browser. No one is doing manually because it's taking too much time. Like, it will be very difficult to click on here, select that one. Okay. Now, suppose you want to add manually add, right? If you want to add manually, now give the event name. So is the home page. Okay, add synthetic event. Now you give that URL. So home page is done. Now you wanted to go for Mac page. Give the URL. This should be a home page. I did wrong.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, so this is your. This is not a home page.
Mac.
This should be a Mac page. So Mac page. Then wait page to load completely. A specific period of time we should wait, 10 seconds, 5 seconds. All those things you need to think how it should be. and then add any content validation, like in that all the content came, right? So you want to validate something,
Text or
okay,
image,
and
something.
image or something, pass it or
Mm.
something. Then you want to validate, then validate it. Otherwise, you want
Mm.
to enable some HTTP authentication to log in it, right?
Username, password.
So username and password is required.
Mm.
So we should also create a new credential and give that username and password for this page. Then save to vault. Vault means also that it will store in here setting page as a credential.
Mm.
That you
Mm-hmm.
wanted to do. Then it is done. Then you go to next page. Home page is done. Then again you do next page, right? So next
Yeah.
again you do add event. Add event. You do add this page. Now what do you need to do? You selected, then you need to select MacBook Air, right? Select that MacBook Air. So again, this you take that MacBook Air. Like this, you need to do a lot of things, and it will be very difficult to have like what we call something like click on there, click on this. There is some regex and all. It is very difficult. Okay, so just I'll click this,
Mm-hmm.
add synthetic event, give the URL like that. Okay, this is the MacBook Air page. Any again you wanted to add any content validation that you do. So like this, you need to do a lot of things. Okay, like entire transaction you need to configure as a manually.
Mm.
Okay, and then where is not going there? Okay, remove this. Next. Let's select the location. I'm running from South Africa. Okay, and then you can create a project. So this way also you can achieve. Okay, now let's go to another one. Like this one, right? Still not yet come up. But if you see here, it is coming up. The events.
Mm.
RR is coming up. It will take time, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. First time it will take time to setting up. Then second time it will be very good. Now if you see this one, HTTP monitoring, it will running smoothly now. You see, it's running smoothly now.
Mm.
So that way you can manage your synthetic monitoring, and that is very usually like every time you will get a record. So when you have a browser base, so when you are coming to that cost, right? So that cost optimization also as observability, you need to think everything, right? Like as a so synthetic monitoring is a browser base is very costly. Okay, if HTTP monitoring is consuming 0 for one URL, it is consuming 0.1 dem unit, 0.1. Okay, then browser based monitoring is consuming 1 dem unit. Okay, that much difference we have. So suppose 0.1 dem unit cost will be 5 rupees. Then definitely for 1 dem unit will be how much?
0.1 into 100 times, right?
100 times. So that much difference is there. I think 0.1 or 0.25, I don't remember. We will discuss our licensing and so that. But it is difference is there, huge cost difference is there for browser is because browser is we are monitoring your entire transaction, right? They are validating your image in the page, they are doing some login to your application, they are doing some transactions, all those things means all as a real user, they are doing that stuffs and they are giving the complete outputs as a response, outage, from every perspective they are thinking about that. So definitely it will be a huge cost. Okay. So
It will
mostly
consume
what
Davis unit.
no, it will not consume David. Why it will consume? Because the cloud it is not a cloud integration, cloud monitoring, right? It is your Dynatrace monitoring, right? Cloud monitoring means when you have that cloud metrics, like if you see, if you go to that metric explorer, metric explorer, explorer. If you go explore data, if you search with AWS, now this matrix, you see, if you see this matrix, what is coming? Cloud.aws.lb.lb. So this is the AWS matrix. Okay. So to fetch this, you should have a connection, right? Dynatrace with AWS.
Yeah.
Okay. And when you are integration, you are doing Dynatrace with the AWS, we are adding certain policy. Hope you remember.
Yeah.
In that policy, we are defining what should fetch, what should not fetch. Am I correct?
Correct.
See, Dynatrace AWS integration page. If you see, where is the JSON tab? In that policy, we are allowing to fetch this many data to Dynatrace. We are giving access Dynatrace to fetch this many information. Right? Now, suppose I don't want to have this in my environment, DynamoDB is not there. I'll remove this, right? In my environment, ECS list cluster is not there. I'll remove this. In my environment, I don't have this many things. I remove it. Whichever I have, I want to put that one on, right? Why should I pay for each and every? Because this is querying, right? When you create a policy, Amazon will querying, right? That with the help of this policy and sending. So Amazon will charge because you have configured this many, correct? Yeah. Imagine will charge in each and every configuration. For user also it will charge. Right? So same way. So I don't want to put this one. Now here they have not defined any certain location. Now see, if you are a cloud admin and you are doing cost optimization, suppose you are because this my VM is running on North Virginia, US East one. Okay. Why should I, as a observability engineer, allow this to query this many policy in all the regions? Should I allow it? Because this policy when we have configured, we should not allow to all the regions, right? If your environment is only in North Virginia, yeah, US East, North California, yeah, US East, then I can add these three regions. You go to this three region and query. You don't go for entire region. Again, that's the AWS will charge. Suppose this region to fetch is charging $3, then this many every region they're charging $3, then maybe it will charge $50. So when you are doing this kind of things, you should be careful. What things should be integrated? Like, should I pass this CloudWatch monitoring? No. Why should I have data from the CloudWatch? I'll remove that CloudWatch. No. So whatever environment, suppose you have AWS, in AWS environment, you have server, you have AKS cluster, you have file systems, you have S3 buckets, whatever you have some RDS,
Lambda, EBS,
like, whatever you have, that only you put it. And remaining part you remove it. Okay, remaining part, ROT 53 you have, that you put it. Whichever you don't, because Dynatrace support most of the technology. Doesn't mean that we can add everything in that policy. No. So we should remove that part. Okay. So now where I was explaining. Okay. So that is, so this, if it is there, so now this will charge debit data. Okay. Any of the cloud integration license will charge debit data. Okay. Because when you are, this one is doing Dynatrace with integration is done, because of that policy, when you are searching this, you will get the data. Right? You'll get the data. So that Dynatrace will charge, and this for that it is consuming Davis data. Okay, so it will consume more when you are adding all the policy. In spite of that, it will consume more license. So you need to, because see, when you are working on Dynatrace, like cost optimization, all those things, you should be more careful always, because very costly. So every time, every prospect, you should think, if you are using costly and still your application is like behaving like a hell, then they'll say, hey, we have implemented Dynamics. Still, you are not able to understand what should be monitored, what should configure, what things to be done, all those things. So your application will be reliable. Before anything goes down, you will come to know, right? That is the strategy. Like as a not a reactive approach, now it should be a predictive approach, right? So that predictive, you should be before careful, before going down, you will come to know, hey, this is going to be down now. So we should be careful. I think now it is a predictive. After few years or 1 year, there will be no ops. That's it started, I think so. No ops. But after certain 5 years or 10 years, there will be no operation. Everything like tool itself will do. They are developing that level now.
Automatic.
No ops means no operation. No operation means suppose most of the company, what they are doing is like factories, kind of factory shed. Like I told you, right? Recently, I got offered for Canada. Their ambition was same thing. Okay, their ambition was like they have tools, they have Dynatrace, they have AppD, they have Datadog, they have ServiceNow. Okay, and so what will happen is all the cloud platform, they have AWS as a cloud platform, so that ServiceNow should be integrated with clouds. Okay, in such a way that whenever you spin up a VM, okay, in AWS, anything you are spun up, automatically ServiceNow will pick up. So there will be no CI upload. Are you getting my point? So you are removing there from the operation part. Okay. Now, once service now uploaded, then with the help, like now we have a symbol script, the agent get installed, everything, right? Now suppose anything goes down, like suppose CPU went high, 80%, okay, for this certain criteria. So what are the manual activity as a performance engineering team, they are doing it to become a normal. So what activity they are doing, that activity should be automated and deployed. So your Dynatrace should be integrated with Jenkins, your Puppet, your Chef. Okay, and what will happen is when this occurs, Dynatrace will trigger that problem, and same time Dynatrace will trigger a job also. Okay, to do what are the manual activities doing. Again, it will get resolved. So you will get a ticket in ServiceNow. That problem is not closed. Okay, so there was a concept of just like a no ops. Okay, and it was like that was for banking. I think that should I go? Yeah, I should go for a calm. Yeah, I should go for a die.
Go for it.
Like see, right now go for a die situation. Like you are going there and your life will become miserable. Because see, if you are going on site few months, it will like settle there, right? Once you reach and you will be in like that situation, like you need to work like anything or calling, it will be very difficult for few months. That is the reason I thought, who will be taking this much risk? And that too, they are giving entire responsibility for me, because they said, all tools. You know Dynatrace, you are very good in AppD, you are good in Datadog, okay? You know some log monitoring, okay? You know ServiceNow also. So you can easily grasp that area, okay? I said, boss, I can do it, but I can. Nothing is a rocket science. It will take time, we can achieve it, but right now I'm not in that situation to go. Better I'm here only. Already I'm doing, why should I take that much risk? So in that way, that is called as a no-ops. So now future will be in, now they are trying to remove servitors, all those things.
They are
Because
trying to
that
remove what service?
Service desk, command center.
Okay.
Because now there is a huge cost is involved in command center. Okay, and keep on growing. So they are trying to avoid, like use the latest. Now you have seen that, right? Most of the company, that infrastructure setup, VM setup, application deployment, everything is automated, right? Now one job, right?
Yeah.
For application deployment, they did automate. Like they have developing some solutions called cloud native solution. Okay, so automatically infrastructure will up, applications will deploy, testing will happen, and you will get the report. You look the report and you understand and you proceed for monitoring will implement it. So they are reducing 10 members effort in one shot. Okay, so now they are trying slowly they are marketing. Few of the company they are using this kind of technology like anything. Okay, like you consider about Amazon and this other company, but other company they are like going in traffic. Everyone will go, I will go, something like that.
Correct.
So that way, I have given, I think, for VMware, there was the same concept. He said that our vision is like that. So in 2024, there will be no service desk. There will be nothing. Like for every SME, there will be one guy or two guy. He will be handling everything. Why? Because there will be no operations. Everything should happen via script only. So to maintain that script, there should be one guy, two guy, three guy for a SME. Okay.
So that's the AIOps what we are
AIOps.
Okay.
That is now people are moving to that side now, because in that side, if you are moving as a data engineer or something, in India I have seen people have 70 lakhs, 80 lakhs.
Yeah, correct.
In India, one of my friends, he got from Tesco. He's like a cloud native solutions solution consultant. Like he can develop cloud native solution automatically, or infrastructure like in top of OCB, yeah, Rancher, yeah, AKS, your infrastructure will be up, then application will be deployed, testing will happen. There are different types of testing, right? Performance testing, then some sonar cube testing, code scanning, a lot of things are there, right? That testing will happen. The agent, like as an operator, it will work. All the monitoring will be implemented. Everything. So here's that kind of solution he's providing. So that guy got, I think, recently got 52 lakhs package.
Oh, nice.
In India, yeah, and he was getting offer from the same organization from Netherlands. He denied that. He said in India itself, I'm getting there. I will getting 5,000. How much? He was telling 5,000. I'm getting in hand. He said still it is not sufficient. Here I'm staying as a bungalow. There I need to sustain with 1.5 BHK or 2 BHK quarters.
Correct.
That will be very difficult. So in that way, people used to manage. Now let's see synthetic whether come up or not. Now see, all are active.
Yeah.
Now if you open this one, now see
image.
First page, it will take the screenshot also of that page. So you can understand if something is not come up. Okay, some image, you can understand that definitely there is an issue. You see, wherever I have clicked, right, it is highlighting that also.
Yeah.
I have clicked on black, it's highlighting that area. Few minutes I was stuck here, then again I have selected the DMT. So everything it will capture, okay, and that is very easy, okay, to have that recorder. So same way you can configure your, and it will take the screenshot. Now it's the same thing running that which location, Okay, which location is generating. Now, if you go to that edit button, there will be same thing like performance threshold, outage, handling, all those things. So if you go to that performance threshold, you can add that like entire duration of events, a single page. Which one you want, you can do that. In the advanced setup, enable some header you want to enable. Like you want to enable some header, you can add. In that URL will be something you want to add, right? What is the header value that you want to change? You want to block some requests, you want to ignore some code, okay? That you can ignore if something getting, because like sometimes that code is still you are getting, but you can say that like it is fine. Then you can ignore whatever things you wanted to ignore, you can ignore. You want to bypass something, you can do that. Enable some custom RAM JavaScript setting, that also you can enable, like which script framework is supporting Java, AngularJS, some Move, prototype, object, something. You can see, right? Dojo, jQuery. So these are the custom. It is supporting like XHR, XML HTTP request, fetch request. So that is advanced setup. And based on that, you can create some metrics also. Metrics, if you go, enable some metrics via REST API. The REST API will discuss when we are trying to fetch that. So we can configure a REST API via metrics API. That will discuss. Okay. Monitor name, here we have, you can change the monitor name. You wanted to assign this as application, you can do. You got the click path, something got recorded, right? But it's not recorded or like correct way. It is something got failed. Then again you can record from that here. These are for this. These are the script. This much line, if you somebody will tell you to write, it will take hardly 1 week to get the correct data. Anyway, you are good JavaScript also to write this much to understand that application, because you are monitoring assembly, right? To understand this application, then you are writing a script for only 10 line of transaction. It will take a 1 week to get a correct data. Yeah. Correct. And now you are getting within a fraction of minutes. Okay. Yeah. So that way, people you can again you want to play back as a click path. Yeah, you wanted to record again, you can do it. Got it? Okay. So this is our synthetic monitoring. This also you see 3 page, first page, second page. So this this is the history of synthetic monitoring. Hope it is clear. Yeah. Okay, and you can same now. Suppose you wanted to move this synthetic, right, to particular customer. Am I correct? Because you have multiple applications and you wanted to move. So what you can do is you can go to where management zone. So preferences, management zone, customer A, go. Then you create an application for synthetic monitoring. First HTTP monitor name. What we have, go to synthetic. If you have a tag, then you can use the tag. Right. So let's have the tag. Just I'm adding manually. You can create a tag automatic also. Just key as a application and value you can add. Okay. Here tag was added. So let's see. So we can have monitor tags equals, we'll get the data application preview. No, it will not come. Now it will select the data preview. Now it is coming Apple landing page. You create, save changes. So it will be helpful. So now if you go to that customer A, Go to synthetic. Go to customer A. You can see your data. Same way, you can move another two also because they are looking for project-based monitoring. Now we go to the setting, preferences, and join customer A, new rule for a now project base. Select project base, name begins, remove case sensitive. See, came both, review, it will move. So like that, you need to move when you are configured that anything, right? Like either you configure synthetic, you create, you have created applications,
Applications.
you install agents,
Mhm.
something, right? You should move that. You created, integrated some accounts with Dynatrace. So that you try to move surveys that you try to move to for that application, right? So because when you are giving access, if you are a global admin, then you are not giving access. You are not supposed to give full access to them. Full access as a global admin. You create a particular group as an application. Suppose you have 10 applications. You create a 10 group, and you give the access for particular group. And what he has to do, that are the accesses. That's it.
Okay.
In that group also you can add as a view access and admin, some edit access. Something.
Okay.
Okay then.
Yeah.
That's it. We'll see tomorrow again.
Sure.
Okay. I'll send you the recording.
Yeah, the recording and also those.
Document. I'll send you just now. Wait for 1 minute.
Okay.
Already I have like same Gmail now. Gmail. Gmail Drive. I'm putting in the chat here. Yeah.
Okay.
That link is there. Just you here, just to click, you can download all the data. One more link. Yeah. Here you will get most of the documents. Whatever I have some sample questions for certification, all those things, all the Dynatrace VLT documents, all those things.
Okay, sure.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.